Reverend William Netstraeter, A Life in Three Parts, by Daniel Jolls and Michael Jolls. Read for you by Michael Jolls. Introduction. In early September 2009, Monsignor John Pollard, then pastor of St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Wilmette, asked me to go through the parish memorial books and the sacramental registers to assemble a list of all priests who had been appointed to the parish. It was a relatively simple yet tedious task. Why? September is the month that St. Joseph's celebrates their annual Oktoberfest in reference to the parish's German heritage. A few months previous, Pope Benedict XVI designated the summer of 2009 to the summer of 2010 a year for priests, and this was Monsignor Pollard's way of highlighting both the parish's German heritage and priests. As I began going through the books and reading the history of St. Joseph's for the first time, I was awestruck by the story of one pastor with a bizarre last name. Apparently, this priest was influential in starting up the popular Neutra High School, was a pseudo-real estate developer, and was elected mayor of Wilmette twice. And, why is Hitler's name popping up in these books? Let me put this into perspective. I had attended St. Joseph's School for 4th and 5th grade. My family had friends in the parish. I had been working part-time in the office for over a year. Basically, I had some familiarity with the place. But this Father Netstraeter, however you pronounce his name, how did this priest accomplish so much and I'm only just reading about him now? I hardly recognized his picture. Unlike the other former pastors, he was neither talked about nor did he have a room named after him. I won't forget expressing my shock to Monsignor Pollard and his agreeing with me that the lack of attention given to this priest was an oversight. In fact, we both decided that in anticipation of Oktoberfest, we should place this priest, whose name I kept mispronouncing, on the cover of the weekly bulletin. Jump to February 2012. I was no longer working at St. Joseph's and was pursuing filmmaking, producing screwball comedies that were getting a little recognition. My endeavors had come to the attention of John Hennick, a parishioner from St. Joseph's, who asked me to do an Advent/Christmas video. Now, 2 months later, John was interested in more videos. A lot more videos. John was leading the parish's evangelization committee with the goal of producing media that would inspire and build interest in the parish. This task of producing a dozen or so videos highlighting different aspects of the parish's activities and organizations didn't seem cost-effective, and they would quickly become outdated and need replacing. An opportunity to correct an oversight presented itself. The magnificent history about the parish and that seemingly forgotten pastor would both inspire and bring newfound interest. 1 year later, working alongside the same team that I had been making comedies with, we finished Cathedral of the North Shore, a documentary that centered on the biography of Father William Netstraeter. Regardless if you're Catholic or not, regardless if you're religious or not, regardless if you're familiar with Chicago, regardless if you believe in God, Father Netstraeter perfectly embodies the American dream, and his story remains one that anyone can find inspiring. He was an immigrant to the United States in the post-Civil War era who made the most of a bad situation and helped create a community that still thrives today. Nancy Canifax, one of the original Father Netstraeter enthusiasts, and herself a former president of Wilmette, had been a driving force in keeping his memory alive long before we had the opportunity to make a documentary. When we finished Cathedral of the North Shore, there was nothing in the village of Wilmette or St. Joseph's that truly recognized Father Netstraeter's incredible contributions and influence. Within 6 years after the completion of the documentary, Nancy saw it through to ensure that Father Netstraeter's image was embedded on a bronze plaque that now hangs in the entrance of Neutra Township High School. Nancy took the initiative to see that St. Joseph's was recognized with a sesquicentennial award by the Illinois Historical Society, honoring the longevity of the parish's service to the state. These efforts snowballed into other results. Prior to 2013, Father Netstraeter's name didn't even appear on the Wikipedia entry for Cardinal Mundeleин's famous paper hanger speech about Adolf Hitler. In the process of doing this book, a simple Google search yielded 3 times the number of articles and references to Father Netstraeter than there were in 2012 and 2013. Through Nancy's enthusiasm, I casually began to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?